Okay, so you're on because we want to talk about the Battle of Ontario because
Yeah,
you were part of it. You watched last night,
I sure did. I haven't missed a minute of it.
and
And gosh, I gotta say, what did they have? 20 shots each last night? Like both teams are doing an amazing job blocking shots. Like I've never seen the net front so crowded in a Leaf game in a long time. They're battling as hard as Ottawa. They're obviously getting timely goals. They're getting, like every year, guys. People step up in playoffs that maybe normally don't that step up. Now you got, Max stepped up, and you got Benoit the last couple of nights. I think it's been really good. I think it's been physical. I think Ottawa has been real close. Like it's been, you could still say they outshot Toronto in 2 to 3 games, and are down 3-0 in the series from some timely goals by the Leafs. But I think the Leafs overall are just managing the puck better than they have in previous years. When they don't have plays, they're not turnovers this year. If the D can't pinch, they're not pinching. Like they just seem to be more disciplined overall, and Ottawa's getting less scoring chances for it.
Your fast twitch muscles, are they spasming though? Watching this, knowing what you've been through in the past and being part of that battle of Ontario?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't tell you. I was in the building for game one, and it was amazing to watch it. Like, it was really cool to be part of it. No doubt I miss it, guys. I miss playing every day. I tell everybody, like, I still play a couple days a week. Now I pay to play, though. Now I got to pay to play in, the beer league. But I love the game. Obviously, it gave me everything I have in my life. So I certainly enjoyed being in the building for game one, and I think it's been a great series, and it's been a lot closer, I think, than a 3-0.
sure.
For Toronto at this point.
So you have also been part of some great rivalries. And as soon as and living in the East, people say, well, the Battle of Ontario, there's nothing better. And then you have people in Calgary and Edmonton pipe up, and then you have Islander and Ranger fans pipe up, and then you have Chicago and St. Louis fans pipe up. But you've played in two of those at least, with the Battle of Alberta and the Battle of Ontario. Are there comparisons?
Well, I always get into this. I never like to compare decades, obviously.
That's what we do, Gary.
I know, but obviously listen, I haven't been on too many quieter bus rides than going from Calgary to Edmonton for a hockey game. Like we used to bus there, remember? Okay. Like it wasn't a chartered flight. We used to bus to Edmonton, and I can tell you that, you just had this mentality, hit or be hit. That was my mentality back then in the days, I'm not sure I felt that fear in the Ottawa-Toronto series that I felt as a young guy going into Edmonton for a playoff game. I don't think I could compare. It's a different time for me. Obviously, I was an older guy in Toronto and had probably a little more confidence to play in those games and the experience of the Calgary-Edmonton series, but not much would beat playing in Alberta in the Edmonton-Calgary rivalry that was so big for those years that I was a Calgary Flame.
You using the word fear, that's perspective to me. That drives it home.
Yeah, well, it was as nasty as any hockey I've ever played was the Calgary Edmonton rivalry back then. Really was. I mean, they had some big, tough guys, and I remember Timmy Hunter. Timmy Hunter was great to me as an older player. I remember him saying to me one day, "Robs, I'll always fight the toughest guy, but you better have the second toughest." So think about that in your early 20s, trying to make your mark in the NHL. And I knew that, I would look at the roster and I'd go, holy crap, that guy's the second toughest guy in that team. I'm in trouble, but Timmy was amazing. I never, ever had to fight the heavyweights. I always fought guys in my weight class for the most part. And I was smart. The one time I got out of my weight class was against Joey Kosher one night. Didn't go so well for me. So I was a little smarter as I got older and kind of try to stay in my weight class and not fight the heavyweights. And a guy like Tim Hunter was a big factor in obviously helping me survive my early days in Calgary when I had to play that way to be in the lineup.
But then I look at those years in Toronto with you and Joe Newendike and a few of the veteran players. I mean, there didn't appear to be any fear on your face or in your body when you were playing for the Maple Leafs in these series.
No, and I would say it was a different time, and I was probably physically, I think about what I went through to come back to play and how more physically prepared I was to play in 2002. I played in the Stanley Cup playoffs and played those Battle of Albertas in the late 80s. Crap, I was 183, 185 pounds, maybe. As a Toronto Maple Leaf playing in the Ottawa Senator Series in 2002, I was 213. You know what I mean? So the weight training and the time off and the surgeries, and I mean, I had to reevaluate how I trained to play the game that I needed. I just didn't have the body in the late 80s and early 90s to survive the game that I played. 2002, I was physically more prepared to play that kind of game and that kind of playoff rounds like we did against the Senators. I mean, I think I played almost every shift in two of those playoff rounds against Zdeno Chara. I mean, and we all know how much of a beast that guy was, right? Like, he was no fun to play against. And I would say one of the most honest players I've ever played against was Chara. Like, he never did anything dirty. He was as honest as can be, but it wasn't a lot of fun to play against the guy. But I was physically at least able to, I would say I'd never, ever thought I was going to ever run over the guy, but I was at least able to play against him and have a little bit of success without him killing me, thankfully.
Fear and killing me. I've got a T-shirt list going here.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of me, Darren. I think you probably know that, right? I only know how to play. I only knew how to play one way. And if you found me high in the slot looking for a one-timer, I felt out of place. I felt lost on the ice in those situations.